Hello, welcome to the Bomb Shelter. I am your host for this episode, Kevin Rainbow Schumm.
And
This is my co-host.
and the co-host, Jay Froggy McDowell.
Yep. We have little sneaky code names today based on the movie we're going to be watching, or that we did watch. We'll be talking about a little movie I like to call Laserblast from 1978.
This could all be happening right now, somewhere on this planet. It's the story of a UFO that has landed and visitors from a galaxy light years away. It's an adventure unlike anything on this planet. A weapon that might belong to us in the future, but is here now. Laserblast. It's the story of the boy who found it and the girl who tried to help him.
What about the lump on your chest?
And a world that tried to take it away.
They didn't know I knew it.
I want the town sealed off. Just no news leaks. No news, period.
Laserblast. It will blow your mind.
And that was the wonderful trailer for Laserblast from 1978.
Which had to have been better than the movie.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll get to it in a minute, but there's a little trivia about the trailer, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
But yeah, so Laserblast. This was a movie. I believe I actually saw it on TV at some point when I was a kid, because I've seen the movie, and I don't know if it was in theaters or not, but I definitely didn't see it in the theater.
I know I've seen the Aliens, but I think it was on a bad movie site that reviewed it because they looked really familiar, and the sound they make.
Yeah.
I think the site had audio clips.
Yeah.
And because I remember it being really creepy sounding.
It is really creepy.
It is kind of creepy. It sounds like it was recorded in a bathroom.
Yeah. So Laserblast. Let's go through a little bit of the details of, who made it and who was in it.
All those responsible.
Yes, all those responsible for this. So, directed by Michael Ray.
Not Michael Bay.
Not Michael Bay, no.
But although there were a lot of explosions.
Yeah, there were actually. Maybe he changed his name and started making movies.
Maybe.
But yes, Michael Ray, he made this movie, Laserblast, in 1978. And then I think it's like 20-something years later, in 2005, he made a movie called Aliens Gone Wild.
That was a long pause between movies.
Well, you make a movie like Laserblast, it takes everything out of you, and you've got to...
Well, and you just rest on your laurels.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, I made Laserblast. Do I even really need to make another
Yeah,
movie?
he's probably had people throwing scripts at him, and he's just like,
nah.
I don't need to. Look at all the money I've got from Laserblast.
Yeah. All that's not true. Yeah, Laserblast is not a good movie, and I doubt he made any money.
I'm pretty sure he had to go into another line of work for a while.
In fact, Aliens Gone Wild from 2005 on Internet Movie Database, all there is a title that he directed the movie and a picture, like a poster. There's no information about what it's about, who's in it, anything, nothing.
He never really made the movie.
Yeah.
He just, I made a poster.
Yeah. He's one of those guys who fakes stuff on Internet Movie Database, puts themselves in movies.
One of those losers.
One of those horrible people that do that.
We don't know any.
Yeah, I don't. Written by two different people. It took two people to write this movie.
Wow, that's sad. One
of the people was Frank Ray Perilli.
Perilli? Yeah, it looks like Perilli.
And he actually wrote several things, but of course we don't want to make this podcast about listing things you can read online.
Yeah.
So he wrote or co-wrote Laserblast, and he also wrote a movie a couple of years later called Alligator, which might be something fun to do on
It
the
might
show
be,
sometime.
I've not seen it, but I do remember it.
Yeah,
I have
it's
the
about
alligator game.
a scary alligator.
Yes.
And then he actually turned into an actor later on. He's been in, not hundreds of things, but he's been in.
He has acted.
He's acted a lot. He actually looks like he stopped writing and started acting.
Oh, okay. Because writing apparently was not his forte.
They're like, you know what?
I'm not very good at this.
Yeah. Also co-written by a woman named Fran. Yikes.
Looks like Shocked.
Shocked.
But it's Schacht. So
Wow.
I think it's like Shocked.
She has one She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters in her last name and only one vowel.
And there's only 4 different letters in the whole last name.
I'm not even drinking this time, but I feel like I am.
What did you put in your coffee?
I know. So she did very, very little. She co-wrote Laserblast. She also played a small part in the movie as the sheriff's secretary. Mm-hmm. She's in the movie for maybe less than a minute.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe, I think she has like one line, maybe.
Yeah, I think somebody points at her, and that was about it.
And then she also wrote another movie, which we will never cover on our podcast.
No.
I didn't even put the name down. I don't remember if it's because the name itself was bad, but it's an adult, like a porn type movie.
Yeah, you can probably find other podcasts that will review that movie.
We'll do that one, yeah. But it was strange. She did so very little.
Well, she did so little on this one, too.
Yeah, that's true. So then the cast. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. Actually, and we haven't focused on cast in a lot of our podcasts recently.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting stuff this time.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily uplifting, interesting.
No, not terribly.
No. But so the main character, and we'll actually get to the plot here in a minute.
Yeah, such as it is.
Yeah. Or should we cover the plot real quick before we talk about these people?
Let's just give a quick overview of the people, and then we can go a little more into some of the parts about the people.
Yeah. So we got Billy Duncan. He's the main, guess you call star of the movie.
Yeah. The main character.
The main character.
Yeah.
His girlfriend, Kathy Farley. And some of these are going to be tough because I don't really pay attention to names. But you've got a sheriff and a couple of deputies that are pretty prominent in the movie.
Yep.
Tony Craig is sort of I believe he's
he's supposed to be like an MIB, like a Man in Black kind of thing. But
investigates, maybe alien.
Yeah, he seemed to know a lot about what was going on, which nobody else did, including us.
Then you've got a couple of, they're kids in the movie, but at least many of them are definitely in their 20s or 30s.
30s, 40s.
Chuck Boran, or a character named Chuck Boran. A little geeky guy called...
His little sidekick, his Weasley sidekick.
Yeah, called Froggy, and if you see him, you'll say like, oh yeah, the geeky guy from, and then name 100 different things.
If you hear him, you will know who it is.
Yeah. And then you've got Kathy, who is the main female in the movie, the girlfriend. Her grandpa, Colonel Farley.
Yep.
And then there's the doctor.
Dr. Mellon.
Dr. Mellon. That's kind of a weird, I guess it's fine.
Yes, it's no worse than Froggy.
Yeah. So, should we go into the kind of the actors that played these parts and what's interesting about them?
Just a quickie overview, because the thing is, a lot of the people in this did a lot of TV. These were working actors.
Yeah.
They were bit part actors or background actors or like C-level in the show or whatever they're in. So there's a lot of, I wouldn't call them prominent, but a lot of people that you've heard of and seen.
Yeah.
Not so much the two stars.
Yeah, which is strange. So the two main stars didn't do much else at all.
Oh, one did more than the other.
One of them did a little more than the other. A little more than they should have.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll get to this. Here we go. So Billy Duncan, the main kid in the movie, is played by his name is Kim. It's a male though. Kim Milford. So he's a actor, singer, songwriter, composer, dancer.
I'm pretty sure he was not good at any of those.
Yeah, apparently he definitely wasn't good at acting.
Certainly wasn't good at acting.
Yeah. He was in very little else. He was in a movie called Corvette Summer, which is notable.
There's some guy in it.
Yeah, some guy from another spacey type movie.
Hormel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some weird guy.
But yeah, he did a few little things. But this is, if, Internet Movie Database kind of, you look what they're in, usually they'll line up, here's the most famous things they've done.
Yeah.
So, and Laserblast is the most famous thing he ever did.
Oh, that's sad.
So that's very sad. He died 10 years after this movie of pretty young age of heart failure.
Which means he died at 37, which means he was 27 in the movie.
Yeah. And he was supposed to be probably
like
high school or just right out of high school,
17,
possibly.
18.
Yeah. And you can tell. I mean, we were joking the whole time, like, he's not a kid.
Yeah, none of these people, the last time these people saw high school was like in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got his girlfriend, Kathy, and that was played by a woman named Cheryl Smith.
who has a rather
So she was in
dubious
quite a lot.
history.
Yeah. Now she went by another name. So we were just looking this up. Previous to Laserblast, she had a whole other acting career before that.
Yeah.
Where she went by the name Cheryl Rainbow Smith.
Yeah. Or did she go by Cheryl? Or I think it was just Rainbow
Just
Smith.
Rainbow Smith.
Yeah. And it's Rainbeaux.
Yeah. So it's really
Rainbeaux.
exotic.
Yeah.
So she did films before this, but not the kind you would see
Yes.
in
Many more that we will not be reviewing.
a whole
on
bunch
this.
of movies we will never cover on this podcast.
Yes.
Basically adult movies.
Yeah.
Which, when I was sort of reading the trivia about her, I thought, well, she probably started in Laserblast and it didn't really pick up, so she got into something that you can just do if you want to.
Yeah, but it seemed
it
more
was the
like she
opposite.
was kind of trying to get out of
it.
that and become a legitimate actress.
Yeah.
Which being Laserblast didn't help.
Although, if you have to say, I mean, she's definitely a better actress than the main guy, Kim.
That's true, yeah.
She did a pretty good job. She's not great, but she's not bad.
True.
It didn't stick out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she apparently was, for a very short period of time, in the band The Runaways.
Yeah, the Joan Jett, Lita Ford.
Yeah.
Girl band from the 70s, girl rock band from the 70s.
Yeah.
I think what we found was after the original, several people had left. I think Lita Ford and Joan Jett was the only one left.
She stayed, yeah.
But I think Lita Ford had already left, and then Sandy West, the drummer,
Yeah.
had left, and Kathy became the new Sandy.
Yeah.
But it was only for, I don't even know if she even recorded a tour.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know
it
if
was
there's
right
any-
at the end of the Runaways.
Yeah. But technically she was in The Runaways. And then here comes, not that it's been uplifting so far.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Right after this movie, around that time, she apparently got addicted to
Developed a
heroin.
heroin addiction.
And apparently was kind of addicted on and off for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
She died in 2002 at the age of 47. So still died pretty young.
Which for us is young.
Yeah, for us is young because that's only a couple years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so the two main stars didn't do much else in Hollywood and both died
And
really
life.
young.
Yeah.
In life too, yes. Then you got Tony Craig, who was the kind of Men in Black
Yeah.
guy. Tony Craig, played by a guy named Gianni Russo.
Okay.
And
go with that.
Yeah, and he was in some really good movies, and then he was in Laserblast. So
And then nothing else.
he was actually in quite a bit, but I just took a few.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he was in a movie called The Godfather.
I don't know.
I don't know if you've seen that one or not. Then he was in another movie called The Godfather Part 2.
Gee, really?
Yeah.
You made two of them?
And then he was in a movie called Laserblast after being in both of those.
Oh, there we go.
So, yeah.
There we go.
So there's a movie I've heard of.
Upward trajectory right there.
Yeah. So he had a career where he started out like in really good movies and then kind of just fell apart, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely playing the Italian mobster part up. Even in Laserblast, he kind of had that mafioso
he had that
kind of
feel.
look.
Yeah. And then you got the sheriff is just named Sheriff.
Apparently, that was his
It's
name.
no first or last name needed. Played by a guy named Ron
Masak?
Masak. Yeah, he was in just tons and tons of TV mostly in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
He's
he
kind
was-
of that guy.
Yeah,
He kind
he
of
looked
looked familiar.
Yeah. But I actually, in my notes, started putting down, because the first two main people in the movie were in so little, it was such contrast. Almost everyone else in the movie was in ridiculous amounts of things. So this guy, the sheriff, was in 118 acting credits.
Jeez.
On the Internet Movie Database. Even leading up, I think, 2018, he had done
Oh, he's
something.
still-
So he's
still
doing it.
kicking, huh?
Yeah, I think everyone else is still alive.
No.
Oh, wait, no, that's right. The one guy is.
Yep. The next guy.
Yeah, the next guy, Deputy Pete Unger, played by Dennis Berkeley, is what we like to call.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. So you see him and you're like, oh, I know him. He's from, and then you'll start thinking like, I don't know what, but
Well, when we were eating dinner beforehand, Kevin was telling me about people in the movie, and he goes, "Yeah, there's this guy. He's in it, and you'll know him. He always played a big, he's a big burly guy, and always played kind of a villain, or just kind of a sidekick,
Yeah.
henchman kind of thing." And I immediately pictured this guy, and it turned out it was
Yeah,
him.
you pictured Dennis.
I pictured Dennis Berkeley.
Yeah. So he's, if you see him, you'll say like, I know I've seen him a million times.
Yeah.
And you've maybe seen him 136 times because that's how many.
If you've watched a lot of TV.
Yeah. Because that's how many credits he had. He actually did pass away. I didn't write down the details.
Yeah, I think he passed away last year.
Something like that.
I don't think he got picked up in The Culling. I think it was last year.
Yeah. Then you got Deputy Jesse Jeep, which is a really weird
I
name.
wouldn't have got that name.
Yeah.
Figure that name out.
Dennis Berkeley, played by a guy named Dennis Berkeley, who I was mistaken talking about this earlier with Jay. He was actually in quite a bit too. A lot of TV, 46 credits to his name.
He looked very familiar too.
He looked familiar too.
And it's kind of right there. I can see it, what I've seen him in before.
Yeah.
But I can't think of what it was. But yeah.
Yeah, he definitely looked familiar.
He looked like a really, really scrawny Mac Davis.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then you got Chuck Boran, who is the kind of the tough
Yeah, he was
high school, in quotes.
the antagonist.
Yeah, the antagonist. And this is the guy I was talking to you about earlier. This is his only credit on Internet Movie Database. He was kind of, he played by a guy named Mike
Bobenko?
Bobenko. And this is his one and only credit, Laserblast.
He did Laserblast, and then people said, "You want to be in another movie?" He said, "No,
Nope.
thank you."
Nope, I've had quite enough. And then you have the character Froggy, who is yet another one of those that guys.
He's definitely that guy,
Yeah,
even by
he's-
his voice.
Yeah, even his voice is so. And he seems. I mean, I didn't look up every single one of his 86 credits, but I think he played mostly this same kind of character. Just
He
like
has
a geeky.
Yeah,
sidekick.
What, did you say the name? Eddie Deason?
Oh, sorry, Eddie Deason.
Yeah, he's definitely got a look.
Yeah.
A very nerdy, geeky look, and a voice. I don't even know if I can mimic it properly.
Yeah.
But it's a very distinctive voice. He
Yeah.
talks like this.
And you
know?
almost wonder, is he doing it on purpose, or is that really how he talks?
Yeah,
Or, you know?
yeah. He actually has this deep, rich baritone
Yeah,
voice. He's
yeah.
like, "Hello, my name is Eddie Deason."
But he was in quite a lot of TV. He was actually in Grease, the movie Grease.
I think
Grease
I could picture him in Grease.
2, and in the movie War Games, and a whole bunch of other things. But I don't want this to be about a list.
I wish I could think what he was in War Games, where he played in War Games.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember
but it
because he
was-
had to be like
it
80
was on
by the
there.
time that came out.
Yeah. Okay, then you got the, Kathy.
Colonel Farley, Kathy's grandpa.
Colonel Farley, played by Keenan Wynn, which just seems like a name that I should know.
That name sounds really familiar, but
And
he
he's-
didn't look familiar.
He's quite old in this movie, and he has 281 Internet Movie Database credits, and it's not TV; it's a lot of movies.
You sure that wasn't his age?
Yeah, I mean, he may have been 281.
Maybe he was 281.
But yeah, he was in things going way, way back. And
Yeah.
lots of movies. So he must have been. I should have looked it up, but obviously he's not alive anymore.
I would think not,
I didn't look that up.
unless he's
But he did well. I'm assuming he died of
320
natural
something
causes.
years old.
Probably didn't do porn movies or anything like that.
although
You never know.
different strokes.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that when I tried
Yeah,
to
I know.
drink.
And then finally we have Dr. Mellon, which is just. I just wonder, like, why Dr. Mellon? Like,
Well,
I mean, you're this isn't the actor's name. This is just you get to pick, like, hey, what should we call a doctor? Let's call him Dr. Mellon.
somebody's taking pictures outside and blinding me with their flash.
How strange. This is how famous we are.
We are.
Yeah.
We got people outside going,
Yeah.
"That's Bunker 2, Bunker B.
Yeah.
Are they recording? I wonder what they watched." Oh, quit flashing. You're hurting my eyes, lady. Yeah, Dr. I don't know. I know there's, Carnegie Mellon, you know,
Yeah.
the institute and stuff. Maybe they were trying to make it sound
Maybe so.
official or something
Yeah.
like that.
And that's played by another, I would say, probably the most famous actor in the movie, right?
Fairly well known.
Yeah. Roddy McDowell.
No relation.
Yeah, not really spelling different.
Well, he misspelled his last name.
Yeah, he spelled it wrong.
So
But he's been in, I didn't even list. I just said Planet of the Apes, ... everything.
yeah, pretty much.
He was in 265 credits on
He's in
Internet
a couple
Database.
movies,
And
yeah.
he's been in anything from like the original Twilight Zone series to Planet of the Apes
Yeah.
to there's a movie called Hell House. I think he's in that.
Yeah, I think, wasn't he in? He was in Evil Ed.
Oh, really?
He not, and that's not the name of the movie. It's just oh crap, not Motel Hell.
Oh.
The one with Evil Ed in it. Okay,
think.
people, you got to look it up.
You'll have to look
He
it up.
played the the retired horror show
Okay.
host.
Yeah.
That the kid goes because they're trying to get the
Yeah.
vampire. What's his name from Princess Bride?
Yeah.
And he plays, he tries to help them.
That's right.
Take out the vampire, but it turns out he really doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
What can I? Evil Dead.
Evil
no,
Dead.
it's not Evil Dead.
No.
That's Bruce Springsteen. Well, what am I drinking?
That's
okay,
just it's
tonight
regular.
I'm just drinking black cherry cream soda. I don't know what you put in it.
Non-alcoholic.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
So,
he
yeah.
he was an actor and he was in stuff.
But yeah, he's more than that guy. You've seen him in a
Yeah,
lot of
you know
things.
him in a couple of ways.
Okay, so after all that, let me just do a real summary of the plot, even though we've sort of
This will be way
Danced
shorter than the
around.
list of people.
yeah. This movie is 83 minutes long, and it seems longer than
It
that.
seems like way longer than 83
And
minutes.
you kind of, like a lot of movies like this, you kind of don't. When it's over, you're like, "What happened?"
Yeah. We're watching it and going, what happened?
Yeah.
And then it's over and you're like,
So
but nothing happened.
this is what happened. Alien creatures kill a mutated alien creature in the California desert. Its remains and the high-tech laser gun and power source accidentally left behind are found by an ostracized teenager.
Who's 27 years old.
Yeah. However, the power source causes a teenager to mutate too, and he goes on a murderous rampage.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. I guess that's kind of what happened.
Except we didn't know that the mutated alien was a mutated alien.
Yeah, we just at the beginning of the movie you just basically see these
We know
weird-
nothing about the high-tech laser gun and its power source,
Yeah.
except that they work together.
you kind of learn it as the movie goes along.
No, you don't.
Yeah, kind of not.
You don't. It just, yeah. This is a very good. This may have been the pitch meeting version, the
Yeah.
elevator version, and then they went to film it, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just going to
script?
do whatever,"
Yeah.
Sorry, kid.
So yeah, let's see here. I think we could either go for a break here, or we can try to expound on the plot as much as possible. Whatever. You feel like.
Let's give a little bit of explanation.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, like it said, mutated alien, but the movie just kind of cold starts.
It just starts. Yeah.
And yeah, you don't know what's going on. The aliens take out the guy, and then the laser rifle is found.
Yeah.
We're not told exactly why Billy is an outcast.
Yeah.
You know, his mom apparently has money. Maybe that's why
Yeah.
people don't like him or something.
But his mom doesn't seem to care much about him. She just kind of
She's like, I'm going to Acapulco
she's going
again.
to Acapulco at the beginning, and it looks like she was probably trying to leave without him even knowing.
Yeah.
Because he runs out as she's packing up the car.
It's like, where are you going?
And then she tells him for the first time, "Hey, I'm going."
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, but I've known about this for months.
So if he would have woken up like 2 minutes later, she would have already been gone.
Yeah, he would have maybe found a note.
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
Billy, I'm gone. There's milk in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then things happen, but it doesn't explain why the laser, or the power source rather, why it mutates people
Yeah.
or creatures and makes them go crazy.
It's basically like a ring necklace, like looks like a solid ring
Gigantic amulet.
with
on
a
it.
giant amulet on it. And the guy, the mutated alien from before, that we only know that because we're reading the description, he was wearing it, and when he is vaporized basically by these other
Big
aliens,
lizard aliens. Yeah,
lizard aliens, like turtles / lizards.
they
something
kind of
like
look
that.
like reptilians.
Yeah. He's like vaporized, and what's left behind is the laser from his arm, which is basically a giant tube.
Yeah.
You actually put your arm into the gun instead of like holding it against your shoulder.
It looks like a tube and a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
On top of it.
Yeah. So one of your arms basically becomes the gun once you're
Yeah.
on there. You kind of point your whole arm where you want to shoot.
Yeah, and then but you do pull on the side.
Yeah, you pull
a
it aside to kind of like fire.
And
But unless the person wearing the gun is also holding or wearing the amulet,
Yeah.
the gun doesn't work.
yeah, not that it's within proximity, but the person actually has to be holding
Yeah.
it. And none of this is explained. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Because he picks it up and then things work, but it doesn't explain the mutation. It doesn't explain making him go on. I mean, I know it's a revenge story basically,
Yeah.
because he does go and take revenge on people, but then he's blowing up stuff just for kicks.
Yeah.
You know, he's blowing up mailboxes and telephone booths and stuff.
Star Wars signs.
Star Wars signs, yes,
Yeah.
that was subtle. And so it doesn't really explain it. I mean, when there's a scene where he's just I can't remember what he'd just blown up. Oh, he had just taken out Froggy and Chuck.
Yeah.
And a hippie picks him up and he's just like, "Hey man, need a ride?" And then he kills the hippie and steals the van. And it's like, okay, well, why?
Am I trying to apologize for the movie? I just assumed that at first he had some control and he's going after the people that have mistreated him, but then the mutation kind of mutates his brain too, and he's just kind of out to blow stuff up.
Because the way he was moving around too, it's weird. He just starts,
he's like a hunchback monster.
And dragging his leg, and then when he shoots something, he goes all rocky and throws his hands up in the air, and then it's just weird.
Yeah,
but it's never explained where Craig comes from. Yeah. Other than you do see he's got a Washington D.C. plate, government plate, but it's never explained why he has so much sway over the sheriff.
Yeah.
Where he comes from, how he knows anything about this.
Yeah.
They narrow it down to Billy.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately. He goes, "I want to know who all was at the party," because Billy blows up actually 2 of Chuck's cars. It's just he blows up the second one with Chuck in it.
Yeah.
And it was at a party, and so Craig goes, "I want a list of everybody who was at the party." Okay. And then afterwards, when Dr. Mellon is barbecued, he goes, "I want a list of everybody who was at Dr. Mellon's office." Which, okay, I see what they're doing.
You narrow it down, like who was at the party and at the doctor.
Yeah, and that makes sense, except, well, I don't know if HIPAA laws were around then, but they don't show, well, they do show them asking some of the air quotes kids, questioning him at the sheriff's department, but they don't do anything to really say, "Oh, well, you're kind of a suspect and you're not, and you are. Oh, wait a minute, that Billy, what about him?" They just, the cops just harass him for no reason, really.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of stuff that there are huge plot holes.
Yeah.
And it's really shouldn't be up to the viewer to fill in those holes or make up stories that make it
like
so
we're
worse.
like we're trying to do.
Like we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it just, none of it really goes. I know what they were going for, but they didn't piece it together very well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So basically, it's just, I mean, you can fill it in yourself with explaining why and how and all that. But basically, this weapon is left by an alien. This kid accidentally finds it, and he's mistreated by people. He goes around and gets revenge, and then I think the mutation takes over, and he just starts killing at random and destroying at random.
And actually, the aliens even seem to be just kind of an afterthought.
Yeah, I know.
Like somebody said, "Oh, wait a minute, we need to kind of Yeah,
like why is that thing sitting there?"
Yeah, either that or, well, on this other movie, I made these aliens, and they look pretty cool, but we never made the movie.
Yeah.
Well, can I use them?
Can I use them in this?
Yeah.
I'll do it for free.
Yeah. And they just pieced it together. That's kind of what it looks like.
And here's another thought, or maybe we should actually get to our break and then and then do that.
And then we'll have thoughts.
Yeah, let's take our break, and we'll during our little break we'll kind of structure the rest of this thing. And it's strange for such a short movie with very little plot. We sure have a lot to talk about. But we will be right back.
All right. See ya.
And we are back.
And welcome to being back.
Yep. So we're still going to be talking about Laserblast from 1978.
Yeah, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
That is the title of the show.
It is. So there's so much to talk about on such a goofy, short, dumb movie.
It is. It's weird.
It's
There's
weird.
just an abundance of material to talk about.
Yeah. But so there's, like we were saying kind of before the break, you kind of have to fill in the details yourself. And one question I had for Jay, and we both kind of were wondering this, you see one set of aliens killing another mutated alien.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, who's good, who's bad? I mean, you have no reference. So
Yeah, because the aliens, the reptilian aliens, they don't subtitle it. They speak their own little alien language,
Yeah, it
which is
doesn't-
creepy.
yeah.
But they don't subtitle it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have no idea what they're talking. You kind of get the gist of it,
Yeah.
but you don't know if they're good guys or bad guys.
Yeah. So you could think like in this universe, is the guy that got vaporized at the beginning, was he the hero and the bad guys finally got him? Or was he the evil guy and the reptilian aliens finally captured that bad guy?
Well, because even at the end of the movie, when they do take out Billy,
Yeah.
spoiler,
Yeah.
it's not specified. Although they do take him out, and then the weapon disappears.
Yeah.
So they apparently took it this time.
Yeah.
But nobody goes, "Whoa, what's that giant reptile doing?"
Yeah,
there?"
it's just like-
because they're not even human sized. They're like twice as tall
They're
as
way-
humans.
really big, yeah.
Yeah, and nobody's like freaked out about it.
I know.
And-
Yeah. You almost think like they didn't, I mean, filming it, they had to plan that, okay, an alien's going to shoot from here, but they're stop motion. So they actually
Yeah.
weren't there.
Yeah.
So the actors had to know that some laser was going to shoot from over in this general area over here, but they weren't there. And I just wonder, like, did they plan all this out ahead of time?
Yeah, it's almost like they forgot to
forgot
say,
to say, like-
and your motivation here is the aliens
Yeah.
up top. You're going to look on top of that building and go, oh my
Whoa.
gosh, an alien.
I've never seen aliens before.
Yeah, and it's going to shoot a ray down. It's going to nuke, or it's going to kill Billy.
Yeah.
Take the weapon, and then you can go up and hold him in your arms and,
Yeah.
and sob and cry. And,
Yeah.
there you go.
Now, this just came to me just now. You were saying that the reptilian aliens, and I don't really care one way or the other, but the reptilian aliens are probably the good guy because they stopped Billy, but they weren't coming back to stop Billy. They were just coming back to get their stuff. And
That's
they
true.
killed Billy to get their stuff, not because like, oh, that terrible Billy, we got to stop him.
Yeah, we've got to protect him.
The girlfriend Kathy could have had the laser gun. They probably would have killed her too to get the stuff.
Or if she'd gotten in the way.
Yeah,
you
they
know.
would have gone
Yeah.
through her. So
Which is funny because in UFO lore, the reptilians are the bad guys.
yeah,
So
that's true. I'd like to think, and I've been thinking about this for like 5 or 10 minutes now.
Wow, put that much thought
I'd like
into
to
it.
think that they actually are the bad guys, and that alien at the beginning was some like hero in a previous movie that was never made, and then the bad guys got him. It's like
But if he's mutated, and if he did the same as Billy,
Yeah.
and he's mutated and he went on a murderous rage,
yeah, that's true.
but it could be, it could still be that the technology quite literally fell into his hands,
Yeah,
and the aliens, the reptilians, were like, no, you are not supposed to have
Yeah.
that, and he went on a rampage, and they finally tracked him down, but they're really dumb and they forgot to take it with them when they nuked him.
and this is the other part. So this has always bugged me, since I was a little kid and saw this on TV. I think so. You put your arm into the thing. Which there's a Kevin trivia coming up soon about that. And you probably already know what it is.
Let me guess what you did with
Yeah.
the vacuum cleaner toes.
Yeah. But so whose technology was it? Those reptile aliens, they're too big to fit that on their arms.
Yeah,
And their
that's
hands
true.
are gigantic.
That's true.
Remember that? There's no way their arm would have fit in that. So again, another argument about maybe they're the bad guys. This isn't their technology they're getting back. I don't know what I think, but all I think is I don't think they're as nice as you might think they are, those reptilians.
Maybe they're like Green Lantern Corps, and they're
Oh.
like intergalactic police.
And they're just there to stop.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily be their weapon, but they need to stop that.
yeah, they were
weapon.
given the command from on high. Hey, this weapon got into this guy's hands.
Yeah.
and you need to go take him out. And they're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. I'll take that one. I like that one.
We
But yeah,
put,
I've always
we put
thought
more forethought into this movie than
the
the people who wrote
that
it.
wrote it did, yeah. Than the two people.
The
that
two
wrote it.
people that took to write it.
So yeah, I mean, clearly that tube gun type thing would not fit on those reptilian aliens' hand or anything.
That's true. I
So,
didn't think about that.
So anyway,
So it's not like the Infinity Gauntlet where it just sizes down,
yeah,
sizes up.
Yeah, I doubt it. So, yeah, so I don't know. The movie is It seemed long, but it's definitely entertaining and funny, unintentionally funny.
Unintentionally.
Yeah.
Maybe for the aliens, maybe they wear one on each of their 3 fingers.
Oh, yeah.
And it just happens to be that their finger is the size of a human, arm.
which is probably about true. Yeah.
There we go.
That could be.
Maybe that's why they weren't too worried about getting it back. They're like, oh, I still got 2.
I still got 2 more. Yeah.
So there you go. More thought than the people who wrote the movie.
Yep, once
Both
again.
people.
So yeah, it's a goofy movie. It's really, there's some action at the beginning, and there's some action at the beginning with tons of explosions, but the middle part's really slow.
It took forever.
Like a lot of, in quotes, investigation without real investigating. Just like, kind of like the feeling that people are investigating, but there's no real investigation going on.
Yeah, like the 2 times that Craig found, remains, he's just there.
Yeah.
And it's like he's mid running his finger through the ashes and then goes, well, this is a clue. And then they go. It doesn't show him go,
Figure out
yeah,
where it
well,
was.
I heard something about this. Because the mutant alien from the beginning, ideally, it was supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It turned out it was like 15 feet from the road.
Yeah.
But nobody should have known where that was. Billy only found it on accident.
Yeah, he was just pissed off and kind of went out to be alone and
Yeah.
stumbled upon it.
And so there was no way that anybody, because he didn't tell anybody where he found it.
Yeah.
And unless Craig had some special detector that,
Yeah.
picked up alien ashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing. And then when he finds Melon's car,
Yeah.
who knew he was off the side of the road? Who knew it had blown up?
Yeah.
Because he was by himself, but he's there sifting through. And
Yeah. And it's almost like, I mean, I'm fine with investigation in a movie. In fact, a bunch of action at the beginning, a bunch of action at the end, and a little in the middle with some investigation is fine, as long as it's a real investigation. But like you said, it's not, it's almost like someone had watched movies where a cop's investigating something or whatever.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize, like, they're skipping to just the, hey, I found it part instead of the, how did they figure out?
or
where
not
to go
even the
look.
hey, I found it part. The put this in a bag and take it to be analyzed,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Yeah. So just really weird pacing, I guess, for the movie too.
Yeah, and for as much apparent time they took to do the aliens, the reptilian aliens, they're in it so infrequently.
Yeah.
It's almost like people went, oh yeah, we forgot that
to
they're part of the movie, so they
Yeah.
cram them in there somewhere, and half the time it's them driving across
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Because apparently they have no hyperdrive, and they went at
just takes.
yeah. They just go at a normal pace.
Well, I think, and maybe this is the time to move into trivia, but in the trailer, which there's a couple things about the trailer, I think the trailer says something about they're from 2
It said from light years away.
light years away. So
Yeah.
if they're traveling at not hyperspeed, just normal,
At like 22.
yeah, they, yeah, I don't know how long it took them to get there, but
They couldn't have been too far from the planet.
Yeah.
in the time it took them to get back.
yeah. So
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. The trailer makes it.
Oh,
I know you said you found somewhere that somebody said it was a kind of a Star Wars ripoff.
yeah, so this is about a year after Star Wars, and I think any movie having to do with space after Star Wars probably was hoping to get a little bit of the Star Wars
to ride that wave.
You
Yeah,
know, like, oh, kids are excited about space. Let's make a space movie.
yeah.
You know?
But this one didn't take place in space.
No.
Had a really horrible laser.
Yeah.
The aliens were cool, but they were
Yeah.
barely in it.
Yeah. If
But-
you watch the trailer, you'd think they're in it like the whole time.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't even make it. It makes it sound like it's not even on Earth.
Yeah. In fact, they don't even say Earth; they say this planet or something like that.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, you just think you're on a desert planet,
Yeah.
not Tatooine.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, an airplane comes over, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
So that's how you figure, oh, okay, well, I'm
It's
on
just
Earth.
it's just a regular Earth. Yeah.
But it's the trailer. This is one of those cases where the trailer and the movie are two vastly
Yeah.
different movies going on here.
Yeah, and like you said, one piece of trivia I read was the trailer. Unless there's another trailer that I haven't seen, but the trailer is supposed to kind of mimic the Star Wars trailer, or at least look like it's similar. And it didn't seem similar at all.
Yeah,
the
because
trailer.
from what I remember of the original Star Wars trailer, it was kind of, lasers firing and
Yeah.
stuff, not really telling you anything about it.
Yeah.
Which I guess if that was what they're talking about, mimicking.
Maybe. It mimics the, like, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't see a connection at all. Besides lasers, which Star Wars has lasers, and so does this, and aliens, which
And Kim Milford kind of looked like Mark Hamill.
Yeah, a little bit. He's like a ugly, older
He's like
post-accident Mark
yeah,
Hamill.
If Mark Hamill, somebody stood behind him, grabbed him by the sides of the eyeballs, and pulled really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So let's go into a little bit of trivia. You think that's good? So we already mentioned the trying to run off of the popularity of Star Wars. And this isn't actually in my trivia, but 2 different times in this movie, Star Wars is mentioned.
Is mentioned, yeah.
So in one point, this one geeky guy, Froggy, keeps talking about lightning and lasers and stuff, right?
Yeah, because he saw the blast that took out Chuck's first
But he says
car.
it wasn't lightning. I know what lightning looks like.
Yeah, because people could go, well, maybe it was lightning. He goes, no, I know what it looks like. It was.
Yeah.
But he says it was a big red ball.
Yeah.
And
so that means they added this later. And
Yeah.
Maybe originally it was supposed to be a ball and they couldn't do that or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But, and then was it one of the deputies or the sheriff comments?
Yeah, it's Unger.
Yeah,
He's
he's watched Star
he's seen
Wars
Star Wars 5 times.
5 times or something.
Which I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, that's what we used to have to do back then, is
Yeah.
watch it when it came, because it would.
Yeah.
Star Wars was out when it first came out for like months.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
yeah, could have seen it.
So yeah, so I mean that's mentioned there, and then later on, Billy, when
With
he's
the hippie.
completely deranged, he shoots a little sign on the side of the road that
Yeah,
just says
coming
Star
soon.
Wars.
Yeah, it said coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So-
that's not subtle at all.
Yeah, so he kind of destroys Star Wars, which is the exact opposite of what happened in reality.
Yeah, I know that. We kind of figured they were like, this movie's going to destroy Star Wars. Let's do
Yeah.
this, and then no.
And then they actually saw Star Wars instead of just the trailer. Like, oops.
Yeah, oopsie.
So yeah, there's that. This movie was filmed. When I first read this, I misread it. I thought it said this movie was filmed over the period of 3 weeks, but actually what it said is it was filmed over the period of 3 weekends.
Yeah, so
like everyone's off at their normal job, and they're like, "Hey, you free this weekend?" Yeah. So that happened 3 times, and then they had this movie.
Hey, you free this weekend? No, dude, I can't.
All right.
Sorry.
How about next weekend?
No,
Okay.
busy then too.
All right.
So yeah, so it went from filmed over 3 weekends. Well, yeah, it kind of looks like it to, or over
3
3
weeks.
weeks. Yeah, it kind of looks like it to filmed over 3 weekends. Oh yeah, I can
That's
definitely
like
see
6
it.
days then, maybe.
Maybe, because
Yeah.
they kind of had to cut early for Sunday.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
get ready to go to work.
Work
So,
the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing here is the music was composed by first-time movie composer Joel Goldsmith. And if the last name sounds familiar, it's because Joel Goldsmith is the son of Jerry Goldsmith, and Jerry Goldsmith is one of the more not quite John Williams level, but kind of the one step below
His
that.
name
He's-
is familiar.
Yeah, he's done his most famous one, at least in my mind, is the music from The Omen, which is some of the scariest music ever.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of other movies too, but I didn't get a list of that because it's not about
Oh, you got a list of everybody else.
of
but
everyone
not
else.
him.
But yeah, I
Way
mean,
to
this
go.
is the father of the guy
Way
who
to
made the
go.
music. Yeah. But anyway, and apparently Joel Goldsmith also went on to. I mean, he has a career in
following
making,
his father's footsteps.
Yeah. So he
good
he
for
made a
him.
living off of it too. So not
Didn't
too
go
bad.
on to make adult movies.
No,
Didn't die of heroin
regular movies.
overdose?
He had done. I think he had done a couple of the Star Trek movies.
Wow, that's
So-
almost that could be worse than
Yeah.
adult movies.
Yeah.
Depending on which ones it is.
That's true. Well, this is my favorite piece of trivia.
Okay.
So produced by Charles Band Productions,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I didn't have a list of this, but he did a lot of goofy kind of
Yeah, he's
not very.
kind of associated with bad movies.
Yeah. And he announced in 1980, 2 years later, that a sequel tentatively titled Laserblast 2,
Inventively titled.
yes, was basically in the works or was being filmed. It was described as being in development or partially or fully completed during the entire 1980s. The film has never been seen. So
Dun, dun, dun.
we don't know if it's fully completed or partially completed or just, writing on a script on paper or anything. but there's possibility that there's a Laserblast 2.
I'm telling you right
somewhere.
now, Quentin Tarantino is having a
Yep.
viewing party on a 16mm cut of
Yep.
Laserblast 2. Right
That'd be-
after,
what
right
if they
after
had
he does
this-
monos.
Yeah, I know. What if they had the same? Well, I don't know if Billy is not necessarily dead. He wasn't vaporized. There's a chance he's still alive
That's true.
at the end. But what if they had the same actors and all that? And if only Laserblast 2 had come out, Rainbow Smith
She may have chosen a different
path.
different
She
path
wouldn't have
in
turned to
life.
heroin and died an early death.
Yeah. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yep. So that's about the trivia I had for this.
No, you had the trivia.
I had the
so.
trivia. So this is something we haven't done, at least not, specifically in the last few podcasts.
We haven't done because we haven't been doing our worksheet.
Yeah, we used to do worksheets, and then life got crazy, and I just stopped putting them together ahead of time.
Which explains a lot of our from the previous shows.
Yep. So maybe we're back on track now.
Yeah, maybe.
And
So,
maybe
yeah.
not.
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, so we call it The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, which I actually watched last week.
I watched it a few months ago, I think.
Yeah.
It's such an awesome movie.
I know. I watched
Love
actually the whole. They're unofficially a trilogy. The three with
Oh, Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and Good and Bad Ugly.
Yeah.
They're technically not this. They're all Clint Eastwood, similar characters, but technically they're not the
Yeah,
same
it's
guy.
all the Man with No Name,
With no
but
name,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
But it works well enough. I mean, they're all kind of like. I don't know why I'm talking about this now.
Because we watched Laserblast. When you talk about something
But yeah,
decent.
it's a similar character played by the same actor, and they're all really, really good movies. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched all three of them
and
last week.
Little known fact.
Huh.
The first airing of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly
Uh-huh.
is still playing because it's so freakishly long.
Oh, it is long, yeah. I think
It's like 17 hours long or something.
I think it's 3.5.
Well, it's close.
Yeah, close. That's pretty long. They actually the trilogy gets longer too. The first one I think is like 2 hours, which is
Now is average.
it's average now, but back then was kind of long. And then the second one's 2.5 hours, and the third one I think is either 3 and 15 or 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
So,
I remember one time it came on TV and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'll watch
yeah.
this."
And with commercials,
Yeah,
it probably is 17
I'm like,
hours.
yeah, I was like, it's still going.
Yeah, but it is a really good movie.
Awesome movie. You
Better
might want
than
to watch that
Laserblast.
movie instead
Yeah,
of this one.
Yeah, but we don't do those kind of movies.
No,
on
we
this
don't because
podcast.
we're masochists.
Yeah. So yeah, Good, Bad, and Ugly for this movie, Laserblast.
Okay.
So good.
Good. The aliens.
The aliens, yeah.
The aliens were really well done.
Stop motion.
Stop motion. They did have that noodle arm thing that stop motion tends to have if they're not Harryhausen
Yeah.
really well done, where their elbows don't bend like elbows. They kind of
Yeah.
tend to look like noodles.
Yep.
But they were still really well crafted.
Yeah.
And looked real.
Their
you know.
eyelids blinked, which I
Eyelids
thought was
blinked,
a good
which Ewoks didn't do until recently.
until recently, which became creepy.
Yes, was very creepy. Their language was creepy and weird.
Yeah.
Like you said, it sounded like they took language and then like played it backward or
Yeah, it
inside
sounded
out
like
or something.
real regular people speaking a regular language because you're listening to you're like you almost feel like you can understand what they're saying. Like,
Yeah.
did I just hear a word that I understand, but then not really?
Yeah.
So it seems like they had some sort of script, maybe actual talking, and then they filtered it so much, maybe reversed it, whatever, to where it's unrecognizable. But I almost have a feeling they were talking like, hey, we better go back and get that laser blast gun. Okay, let's go back and get it. But
Yeah.
then they
Well,
messed with it.
this says something about the whoever did the stop motion versus the actors.
Yeah.
The stop motion figures were more expressive and
Yeah.
gave more information in their body language.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you couldn't understand them.
Yeah.
But like when when their head honcho calls them and is basically like, "Where's the weapon?" And they're like, weapon? What weapon? I don't know what you're talking about. And he basically points at them and is like, "Go get it now."
And you understand it just by what they're
Yeah,
what you're seeing.
just the body language. So
Yeah.
that was really, really well done.
Yeah.
Which it's like, okay, why wasn't
No.
the rest of the movie done?
Yeah, and I assume this when they say that this was filmed over the period of 3 weekends, the stop motion was not part of that. That was
No,
done on the
that
side.
was-
that
that
could not
was
be done in 3 weeks.
Purchased on one of the
Yeah,
weekends.
even though they're not in a lot, that would have taken a lot of time.
yeah.
So that's good, and actually, that was exactly what my good was going to be.
I mean, it's like better than, and you know, because Land of the Lost was not really good stop
Yeah.
motion. This is way better.
Way
This
better
is
than Land of the Lost.
almost Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Clash of the Titans.
Yep. I am. In fact, when I was looking up trivia, I almost thought like maybe did he actually do this movie or something? But I was wrong. It was. I don't think it was. But but it was good. It was good enough to be close.
I would be curious to find out if it was
We'll have to look that
from
up.
some other movie or was made for another production and
And then they
it
used
fell
it in
through.
this. Yeah.
And he just whoever produced it managed to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
They're making movies like that.
Okay. The bad.
The rest of the movie.
Everything else in the movie. Everything. Okay, so here's a couple things. So we mentioned that Rainbow Smith, previous to this, I don't think at all afterwards, was in some like adult type movies.
Yeah.
This movie to me it had almost, not that I've seen movies like that,
Yeah.
but it had a real sleazy feel to it without actually any. I think there was one woman not wearing a top, but her back was turned to you. But I
yeah.
think technically she wasn't wearing it. And I almost wonder, it was rated PG. I almost wonder,
But
did it
back
have
then, PG could get away with a lot.
That's
still.
true. That's true. But I almost wonder, it had such a weird sleazy feel to it. Like the love scene went a little too long and almost felt weird, like creepy almost.
It was icky.
Yeah. And I almost wonder, was it like, were a lot of these actors or maybe production or director kind of involved in that world and that's just what they knew?
Yeah.
And it kind of seeped, which is a good word for this, seeped
Yeah.
into this. I don't know. It just had this real kind of dirty feel to me.
Or maybe even it was, but like a double production thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to film this for Laserblast.
For regular audiences.
And then, but, for Laser Bust, we're
Yeah,
gonna,
I was just going to say, we could go on and on about
Yeah.
what the other name was.
we
Yeah.
need some footage for our other production
movie, yeah.
that we're filming on the fourth weekend.
You know what? Let me say one more good before we go completely to bad. I think the laser gun arm thing, even though it's not necessarily practical, it's pretty unique. I've never seen that before, where a gun is something you actually put your arm into. I thought that was kind of neat, especially as a kid.
It was very much kind of reminded me of bringing up Evil Dead again correctly this time, but
yeah.
Bruce Campbell's chainsaw
Yeah.
arm,
Yeah.
which I never understood how that worked exactly.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I wonder if, because first Evil Dead came out in like 80,
I think so.
and I know Raimi loved movies, so I wonder if he
Yeah.
saw that and was like, that's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be. I could see that being.
Yeah.
It's too long.
Yeah, it was too long. It kind of hindered him from moving.
Yeah, it's really unwieldy.
Yeah.
And apparently the power output in this. Now I sound really geeky, but
Yeah.
the power output it varied all over the place because. One moment he's blowing up cars.
Yeah.
But previously the other alien, maybe he didn't fire it up all the way.
Yeah.
But he couldn't shoot the aliens.
Yeah.
And
You think
then-
it would have just destroyed
Yeah,
the
it would have
alien.
vaporized them.
Yeah.
So it was kind of all over the place. But
Yeah.
with a little bit of, for what it was, being a
Yeah.
kind of cheesy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could give it
Yeah.
a little pat on the back.
And then I guess, again, before we go strictly to bad, I better mention. So,
yes.
yeah, when I was a kid, you were close. What I did is I got,
Christmas paper tube.
like a Christmas paper, wrapping paper tube.
Yeah.
And you know how they'd usually be really small, but you could unwind them.
Oh yeah.
And then you could form them and then they kind of tighten up. So I would put that on my arm and I was the Laserblast guy. I don't know necessarily for Halloween, not that, but just I'd play Laserblast.
just every day.
So I might be the only kid ever who's played Laserblast.
People on the street aren't letting their kids play with
Yeah.
Kevin. They're
Hey,
like,
you
that
wanna play Laserblast?
That Schumm boy's weird. Don't play with him.
Yeah. But on top of that as well, and then I promise we'll go to bad, is I also I really liked the gun thing and the idea of it, but it really, really scared me as a kid too.
The gun scared you?
No, not the reptilian aliens, but the main character, Billy,
yeah.
when he had a green face and was kind of creepy.
Yeah, because we didn't mention that. When they mutate, it's only their face.
Yeah.
And they go all Hulk.
Yeah, they're kind of like,
They're green. They got green eyes, and they got sharp teeth, and they.
yeah, and they growl instead of talk, and
Yeah.
he hunches over and walks really odd. And
Yeah.
Just as a little kid, and I mean, I don't know when I saw the movie on TV, but in 1978, I would have been 5.
Yeah.
So if it was on TV a couple years later, I still would have been a little kid. So that's my excuse for being scared.
The reptilian aliens would have freaked me out.
Yeah, their voices scared me. I remember
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
they still do.
Yeah, it was weird when I heard it. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah, there's
just
something weird about their
sounding.
voices.
So are you done loving on this?
I'm
movie?
done. So now we'll go to the bad. Everything
Okay.
else.
It's bad. Everything else, yes.
Yes.
Now I forgot what our bad was. It was bad.
It was bad.
Just the fact that it was so disjointed.
Yeah.
And it did what a movie shouldn't do, and that's make the viewer have to fill in all the plot holes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that with any movie.
Yeah.
You know, I've done it with Star Wars. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, okay, well, why did
Yeah.
so-and-so not do this? Or, you know, why didn't Vader know Leia was his daughter? Spoilers.
Yeah.
You know, but I can make,
Yeah.
you know, reasons for it, but there's only a few plot holes, whereas this was just plot holes.
It's a whole plot hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You almost have to write the script yourself.
Yeah.
To make it make sense.
And for me, that leads into the ugly.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was fun. It was a cheesy movie, but that level of plot hole filling on
Yeah.
my part took away from the enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah. I think so too.
Because I'm spending too much time doing that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just watching this mishmash. I mean, Monos has a story.
Yeah.
As poorly as it was done,
Yeah.
there was a through story.
Yeah. You can say this is how it started, and this
Yeah.
happened. This happened.
They
This is
start
how it
out on
ended.
their trip.
And it makes sense.
They find this, you know, place that pops up every once in a while. They get trapped in it.
Yeah.
Hijinks ensue. You can follow that, even though it was really poorly done.
Yeah.
This one you couldn't follow because you're like, okay, why are the cops always harassing Billy? Why is his mom taking off all the time?
Yeah.
They said he has money
Yeah.
or she has money. Okay, we don't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
He's got a piece of crap van with Bigfoot
Feet,
prints
three
on the,
Bigfoot feet on the side. Yeah.
And everybody else is just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get to go back to good now.
Okay.
I just thought of one thing that was good,
All right.
and we haven't talked about it. It's filming location.
Oh yeah.
We live in Southern California and have lived here all our lives.
Yep.
And the area we live in is kind of centrally located to, we're about an hour and change away from the beach on a good day.
Yeah.
An hour from the mountains.
Yeah.
And an hour from the desert.
Yeah.
And we have what's called low and high desert. And Palm Springs is low desert, and all that means is sea level.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, a desert is determined by rainfall. So we have the Palm Springs, which is closer to sea level, and then the high desert, which is Victorville and Antelope Valley and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is way above sea level. And this was filmed in the high desert.
Yeah.
We could see in the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
There's certain things like Joshua trees that only grow there.
Yeah.
So we knew
You're watching, or for us, we're watching it thinking like,
this all is
I don't
very
know
familiar.
if I've been there, but it seems like I've driven past that or something.
A lot of it looked like Barstow. We were, you had said, you know, if we could take a still of like the mountains.
Yeah.
And at that point when you said that, one of them looked like the drive up to Barstow.
Which is probably why I said it, because I've actually I was at Barstow last week. Actually, for work.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a feeling you could take a still shot of the mountains and you could go up to Barstow or that area and kind of like hold it up and turn around and say like, oh, there's the mountain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a little inside baseball-y. But the part that I noticed, when you're going up to Barstow and you get to 40,
Yeah.
but you can branch off,
Yeah.
is where those kind of,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like to
Yeah,
me.
that makes
so
sense.
that's what I'm thinking. It was Barstow, maybe older Apple Valley.
Yeah.
I know the only thing we did find was Santa Clarita, which is not in the Mojave Desert, I
No.
don't think. But the rest of it definitely was
Yeah.
Mojave. So I enjoy seeing that because I love
Yeah.
the desert. And it was kind of neat to see it back in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, before, because it's so built up
It
now,
is, definitely,
relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, okay. So that was my
That's your good.
time to turn
Yeah.
to go back to the good. Ugly?
Now we're to ugly.
Yeah, ugly,
Everything
disjointed
else.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is the styling of the times of the 70s, but I mean, all the quote unquote kids were clearly not kids. They're definitely at least in their 20s.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. It's just, I had this really dirty feeling from it. Just like
It did kind of have I need a shower after this,
Yeah.
you know, in some of it.
that whole party was kind of gross to me, and they had like a pool party, and I don't know. Just there was, you know, any movie about teens at a party is going to have some sexual stuff.
Yeah.
And this didn't show anything, but it just had
It
not-
was skeevy.
yeah, it wasn't a fun teen movie hijinks type of thing. It was more of a like, these are all creepy people, and wouldn't want anyone I know.
Yeah,
to be
it
there.
was like an adult movie where they're all supposed to be, where they're all of age.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be, they're in high school and they're all like 18, 19-year-old high
Yeah.
schoolers, and
Yeah.
and then the gross music starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could kind of.
So that's the ugly for me.
Yeah, I wonder now if anybody else was involved. I mean, I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, I don't
trail,
either,
but it does make you kind of wonder if
Yeah.
there was, because that was kind of a thing
Yeah.
in that time too. So
Yep.
maybe.
So, and here we are coming to the end of our typical time for our podcast. But final thoughts, do you think it's worth watching? I would say once. I would say
if you are trying to expand your bad movie knowledge,
yeah.
your education, yes, see it once.
Yeah.
Then don't bother ever again.
Yeah.
Because it really isn't, it doesn't have enough replayability.
Yeah.
Like again, Monos, we've seen that. I think we said some time ago that we've probably, besides the Star Wars movies, we've seen
Monos
Monos.
is number 2.
Yeah, the most. Plan 9, it's fun.
Yeah.
Star Crash, it's fun.
Yeah.
This wasn't even fun enough because it wasn't a slog like that Jesse Ventura one.
Oh,
was.
yeah.
I think it was
Abraxas.
a laser or something. Abraxas, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a slog like that, but it just, a lot of the fun was taken out with trying to just piece it together yourself. So yeah, see it once. Don't bother.
Yeah. Don't buy it on
again.
Blu-ray like I did.
Probably Kevin's the only person
I'm
who's
the only
bought
person.
it on Blu-ray.
Yay, someone bought it.
Like, yay.
We made one and then someone bought it. Yeah, I totally agree on that. Just, it's, if you're listening to this podcast, then you probably would be interested in watching it at least once, but you maybe don't want to necessarily spend money on it to watch it. So yeah, Laserblast, 1978.
Yeah, well,
Another thing we haven't done on previous podcasts as we finish this one out is mentioned that you're already watching this or listening to this on YouTube at Valley Lodge Productions. But if you would like to give us any feedback, whether that be positive feedback or negative feedback, you can also email us you could comment under the video, be nice, even if it's critical.
Yeah, just be nice.
But you could also email us if you have more details or any suggestions, thoughts, anything, at valleylodgeproductions@gmail.com.
Yep. And we have gotten on our most watched video, the Bigfoot,
$6 Million
Man Bigfoot. I think there's like 800 views on it,
Yeah.
which everything else we've got is like, 3.
Yeah.
And most of them were us.
Yep.
And there is one dislike on it.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, what was it?
Like-
Were you being a troll? And if you were, whatever.
Oh, well.
But if not, we want to know.
Yeah,
We
tell us
wanna know.
why didn't you like the $6 Million Man?
Why didn't you like it? So
Yeah.
then if there's something we can do better,
Yeah.
then we can change it. If not, then
Yeah.
suck it.
Yep. So on that note, suck it. We will say goodnight for now, and we will talk to you next time.
Yay! Laserblast.
Hooray!
Pew, pew.
Damn.